Hello, everyone. My name's Abby Brandstetter. I'm a freshman at MSU this year. I'm a fisheries and wildlife and agriculture, food, and natural resources education major, as well as the environmental studies and sustainability minor. I work at the Honors College, so if you have any questions about that, you can ask me those. And I'm also going to be the learning assistant for NSC 192 in the fall, so I'll see you all there, as well as being the recruitment coordinator for RISE in the fall. So if any of you are on recruitment team, I'll be there as well. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about what to bring to college, what not to bring, and just general tips and tricks for that. So for your classes, it's really important to not overbuy materials just because you think like you might be using them, because you probably will only need the bare minimum that you think you're going to need. So just like folders, notebooks, pencils, pens, you don't need like colored pencils or markers or anything like that. You're never going to use those. So don't overbuy just because you think there's a possibility you might use something. Also buy before you move onto campus, because once you get here, the only place that's accessible basically to buy your school supplies at is the bookstores, and everything's super expensive there. So I would definitely suggest buying everything before you get here. Good headphones are always a good thing to have, just because on your walks to class, if they're especially long or if it's a dreary day outside, headphones will make everything better. And then also you're going to want to invest in a planner. Even if you don't use one in high school right now, you will definitely want one to keep everything organized. I know in high school I had a planner and I never used it, but now I don't know what I would do without mine, just because there are a lot of different deadlines to keep track of, and all of your classes might use different websites that have your assignments on them. So it's just really hard to keep track of things without writing them down. And then also just think about whether or not you want to have a printer, just because there is printing on campus, but it's cost 5 cents per side of a page if you're printing in black and white. So it can get pretty expensive, especially because with classes like all the math classes, you have to print all of your notes yourself. So that can get pretty hefty in cost. So if you do want to invest in a printer, I would suggest doing so. My roommate and I bought one like within the first month of school because we realized we needed one. So just weigh your options with that. And then also a comfortable backpack is super important, just because for like all of your walks around campus, they might get a little long sometimes, and it's not fun to walk around with a heavy, uncomfortable backpack. So for transportation, you're definitely going to want to bring a bike if you have one. And then to go along with that, you're going to need a lock. And what campus suggests to bring is a U-lock. So it's just like a metal U shape with a bar across the top. They're just the hardest to break, basically, so it won't get stolen if you have a U-lock. And then also I would suggest buying a bus pass. For the whole semester, they're $50, and then per ride, it's like 60 cents for students. There's also 30-day and 10-day passes you can buy, just like while you're getting used to the bus. If you don't know if you really want to use it all the time, you can get a 10-day or a 30-day. But the buses are really helpful, especially because some of the walks from Brody, like out to the Chem building, the walk is probably like 35-40 minutes. So having a bus pass is definitely helpful, because the bus out there only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. So I would definitely suggest getting a bus pass. And then the transit app is new this year, and you just look it up on the App Store, and it has all of the routes for the buses here, which are CATA buses, and you can just type in the location you want to go to, and you can either go there from your current location or put in wherever you're going to be when you're leaving, and then it'll tell you what buses to take, how long it's going to take, how long it would take to walk or bike or whatever, and it gives you multiple options of different routes, so it's very easy to navigate instead of having to figure out all of the bus routes yourself. And then also, just a suggestion, have an MSU map just like saved on your phone somewhere, just like with all the buildings on it, just because it's a little bit easier to look at that instead of putting something into your phone and not really knowing where it's asking you to go. And then also, I would suggest getting a lanyard or a small wallet to carry around with you, just because you're going to have your room key and your bathroom key, and you're always going to carry your student ID on you as well as your bus pass if you have one. So just like a smaller wallet to carry around with you is very helpful. And also travel mugs and reusable water bottles, because you don't need to buy a cup or a water bottle every time you want to drink. So make sure that you get something that you can reuse throughout the whole year. So your room comes with the bed lofted. So you can choose to keep it lofted or you can half loft it, and I'll talk about that more later. And then it also comes with a desk and a chair, a 4-drawer dresser, which usually you split, like you get the top 2, your roommate gets the bottom 2 drawers. And then it also comes with, like, the closet that's in it has 2 shelves up at the top of it, which is like where my roommate and I put all of our like cleaning supplies and laundry detergent, things like that. And then there are 2 like holes for your towels, like your bathroom towels, so that you don't have to worry about those being wet everywhere. There are not a lot of outlets, so I would definitely suggest outlet strips or like the boxes that you can plug into an outlet that have multiple on them, because there's only like 2 outlets for like per roommate, so it's very helpful to have outlet strips as well. And then just some info about Bailey. So there's a workout room on the 4th floor. It has treadmills and ellipticals and just a few things like that. There's also a ping pong table up there, and there are TVs so that you're not super bored while you're working out. And then we have a kitchen on the 3rd floor, and you can go over to the Brody Engagement Center and you can just like rent out the key from there. It's completely free, but you just have to go sign it out and then bring it back so that they know where it is. Which is, the kitchen's really nice. Everything, it's in like microwave, oven, everything you would need to bake whatever you want to. So that's really nice. And then there are also study spaces on all of the floors. So there's the 1st floor lobby, which is really nice. And then the 2nd floor where we are there's a fishbowl, and then there are also chairs outside of the fishbowl. And then there's the Rise office as well that you can study in. And then every floor has your common spaces on each side. So like on the girls' side, there's half of the rooms and then the common space, and then the other half. And on the boys' side, where the hallway turns, is their common space. And then on the 3rd floor, there are multiple different study areas. There's some that are smaller and the door is closed to them, so you can have a quieter area. And then there's one that's just very open with lots of tables and lots of chairs. And then the 4th floor is the same thing. There's an area where you can close the door and an area where it's just open for everyone. So what to bring for your room? So regarding the futon or a comfortable chair, you don't want to sit in your bed or at your desk all day long and not have anywhere else to sit. So I would definitely suggest bringing a beanbag chair or a futon or whatever, just so that you have somewhere to sit other than your bed or your desk. You also will want to bring just like general utensils, just like forks, knives, spoons, whatever. And then just, I would suggest like a couple plates, a couple bowls, things like that, just because you're going to be making food in your room more than you think you will. So it's definitely helpful to have just general utensils and dishes. And then also along with that, you're going to need to bring like dish soap to clean your stuff with. And I would also suggest a smaller light to put by your bed, just because you and your roommate aren't always going to be going to bed at the same time. And the fluorescent lights that are in the rooms are not very pleasant when you're trying to go to bed at night. So it would just be nice just to be like courteous of your roommate, just to have a smaller light that you can have on while you're trying to do your homework late or just want to stay up later than your roommate. And then obviously just bring things to make your room feel more homey. Rugs are very nice, because if you just have the hard wooden floor of your room showing, it doesn't make it look like a home, it just makes it look like a dorm room. So I would definitely suggest a rug. And then just pictures of your friends, family, anything like that. Twinkly lights to hang around everywhere. It just makes it feel more cozy and more homey and makes you want to be here more and not be as homesick. And then just general things like a coffee maker, microwave, mini fridge. If you are the kind of person that needs your coffee every morning, I would suggest getting a coffee maker instead of buying it. And then microwaves are really nice, especially when you have your combos. You're going to be using the microwave to heat those up. And then A fridge, it's just nice to have cold drinks, or if you want to buy fruit, that's nice as well. And then along with the fridge, you might want to buy a water filter, just because when you fill up water from the sinks or from the drinking fountains, you might want to put it through a filter first. So I would suggest buying like a Brita filter or something like that, so that you can just continue to use the water from Bailey instead of having to buy it. And then drawer organizers and storage bins are very helpful, just because all of the like dressers and everything you have are just very plain and open, and it's easy to stay unorganized with them rather than organized. So if you feel like you might need a little extra help staying organized and keeping everything clean, those are very helpful. And then along with that, cleaning supplies like just Febreze and like dusters and things like that. Dorm rooms get very dusty just because they're very dry. So I would definitely suggest bringing something to dust with. And then for hanging pictures and things, you're gonna need command strips, because you can't put any nails or anything into the wall. So command strips are very helpful. They're very easy to use. I would definitely suggest getting lots of those. And then the first month of the year is very hot still usually. So I would definitely suggest investing in a good fan for your room. We do not have air conditioning in Brody neighborhood. The common spaces are air conditioned, but the rooms are not. And it's not always helpful to just have your window open in your room. So I would definitely suggest getting a good fan. And then a mirror is always good to have. There's a small one that comes in your room, but usually people end up putting their TVs in front of it. So I would definitely suggest getting like a long mirror, one that you can hang over the back of your door or something like that. And then coat hooks are also helpful, just because you don't have a whole lot of closet space, so you're going to want somewhere else to hang your big puffy winter coat that you're going to need. So you can even just use command hooks for that as well. And then I would suggest bringing some sort of calendar, whether that's like a regular flip calendar or a whiteboard calendar or one for your desk. It's just easier that way to keep track of everything and being able to see all of your deadlines like for the whole month, so that you know what your next week or your next couple of weeks look like, just so you can prepare for those. As far as technology goes, you're going to need to bring a Wi-Fi router or an Ethernet cable for your room. I would just keep an eye on that, because they are installing Wi-Fi in some of the buildings in Brody. We haven't gotten Wi-Fi in Bailey yet, so you're still going to need a router or just the cable that you can hook up to your computer whenever you need internet. I would suggest a router just because it's easier. And then a TV is always a good thing to have. I would definitely suggest splitting the cost of a smart TV maybe with your roommate. It's just nice to have Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever you use, just because sometimes cable is kind of iffy at MSU. So I would definitely suggest investing in a TV that you can use multiple things on. And then you're going to need a cable cord as well if you want to have cable with your TV. You just like hook it up in your room, so you do have access to cable. You just have to buy the cord for it. And then obviously laptop, it's absolutely required to have one. There's no way that you're going to be able to get any of your schoolwork done without one. So invest in a good computer that you can use for all of college. That's definitely important. And then, like I said before, extension cords, power strips, things like that are definitely something that you're going to want to bring. And it's just always kind of good to have a USB, just because sometimes if you have a project and your computer might die by the time you get to that class, you might want to have it on something else that's a little bit more, reliable. So USBs might be a good idea. And then, like I said, Netflix, Hulu, things like that, I would definitely suggest investing in, just because sometimes cable doesn't cut it. And then as far as clothes go, and shoes, you're going to want comfortable shoes to walk to class in. If you don't ride the bus, sometimes the walks can get long, like I said. So comfortable shoes are important. Rain boots are something that not everyone thinks about, and you don't really have a choice about whether you're going to be in the rain when you have to go to class. So rain boots are a good thing to bring as well. I would suggest one or two professional outfits, just if you want to interview for a job or go to a career fair, something like that, professional clothes are something that you're going to need. Clothes to go out in, so welcome week is a really fun time, so just keep that in mind. And then clothes that you can get dirty, just if you're going to be in the greenhouse or at the student organic farm or volunteering somewhere else, it's good to have clothes that you don't really care about getting dirty. And then we do have free laundry. So we have a laundry room on the 3rd floor and on the 4th floor. There are 4 washers and 4 dryers in each of those. So it is free, but you have to bring your own detergent and your own dryer sheets. I would not suggest buying any sort of pods, Tide Pods or anything like that, just because if your water is not hot enough that you're washing your clothes in, then the pods do not dissolve and then they get detergent all over your clothes and it just sticks there. So I would suggest just bringing good old detergent and keeping it safe like that. And then an overnight bag is a good thing to have just because you never know when you're going to need it. If you're just going to like go home for the weekend or go over to a friend's apartment, something like that, it's very helpful to have. As far as bathrooms go, the only bathrooms that we have in Brody are community style. We don't have any suite style, which some people don't like, but I think they're great just because they get cleaned multiple times a week. So you don't have to do anything about cleaning it. And there's never a problem with like waiting for showers to be open. I've never once had to wait for a shower. So there are plenty of showers. And so that's good. And then everyone has a locker in the shower or in the bathroom. So you can buy a combination lock for that just to keep whatever you want to keep in there. If you want to keep like your shower caddy in there or your toiletry bag, whatever you want to do with that. And then the bathrooms are also locked all the time. So you have to bring your key to get into it just for safety purposes, obviously. And then only the people like in your hallway have keys for your bathroom. And then, like I said, shower caddies, just so that if you don't want to use a locker or if you are keeping other things in your locker in the bathroom, you don't have to like carry everything loose with you every time you go to shower. So shower caddies are very helpful, and makeup and toiletry bags are very helpful for the same reason. And then you might want to bring shower shoes. I just have like cheap Target flip-flops that I bought for mine, and it's just makes you feel a little better about showering in an area where everyone is all the time. I would also suggest bringing multiple towels just because you're not going to want to be washing your towel all the time. And then a robe or a towel wrap is a good idea as well, just so that you can just walk back to your room in your robe or your towel instead of having to change in the showers just because it's easier sometimes. General housing info. So your beds are extra long twin mattresses. So at least your fitted sheet has to be extra long twin. Your just like regular sheet and your comforter can just be regular twin size, just because like the lengths are a little bit different for fitted sheets, but for regular sheets, they're twin and twin XL are the same. You might want to bring a mattress topper for your bed. The beds do have a hard side and a soft side, but I still have a mattress topper on mine, and I really like it. So just like a cheap foam one or whatever you want to bring is helpful. So half lofting is a really good idea. Like I said, your beds come lofted, but personally, I used to have a lofted bed at home, and I knew that I didn't want my bed lofted here. So when I got here on move-in day, my parents helped me half loft my bed. So when you do that, there's enough room for a mini fridge and for your like 2 shelf dresser. And I have a couple more like 3 drawer bins that I brought with me. So I would definitely suggest half lofting just because you might get tired of having to climb up to your bed every day. So that's just something to think about. And then we're not allowed to have any open flame sources. So no candles, you can't have toasters just for fire hazard safety reasons. Do not bring an iron. I would not suggest bringing an iron. I would suggest investing in a steamer. So I bought a steamer and it works better than irons for me, honestly. So I would look into getting a steamer if you really enjoy ironing your clothes. And then like I said before, general kitchen utensils for the kitchen on the 3rd floor. There's also like cleaning equipment that you can rent from the desk downstairs. So there are vacuums there for rent. So don't buy a vacuum. If you want to buy a handheld vacuum, those could be helpful, but just know that there are some available to rent. So I want to suggest buying one. And then just like a general first aid kit, ice packs, things like that are helpful, just because you never know when you're going to need something like that. And then keep in mind that you get 3 free visits to Olin every semester. So Olin is the health center here on campus, and they also have a location inside of Brody that's easy to go to. You do have to make appointments, but just keep that in mind so that you don't just like freak out and drive yourself to urgent care when you really can just go to Brody and not have to pay for your room in a hospital. So that's just something good to keep in mind. And then just random things. We do have hammock posts outside of Bailey. Rise got those installed a few years ago. So if you have a hammock, those are really nice. Just extra batteries if you do have lights that need them or whatever, they're just a good thing to have. They do sell them at Sparty's, but they are expensive, so I would suggest buying some before you get here. Containers for storing your food, whether that's food that you take from the caf or leftovers that you bring from home. It's just good to have some sort of container, even if that's just like plastic baggies. Social security card, passport, or birth certificate are things that you're going to need if you do get a job on campus to fill out your I-9 and other paperwork. So having one of those is a very good idea. I had to get my passport mailed to me because I needed it for my job and I didn't bring it with me. So it's just a good idea to bring at least one of those things with you and just keep it in a safe place in your room. Playing cards are a good idea, just for like random late nights in the common area with all your friends, and Cards Against Humanity, always a good idea. Yoga mat, if you do have one, if you enjoy yoga, we have yoga nights in Bailey in the Fishbowl, and then there are also yoga nights at Brody. So if you enjoy yoga, I would suggest bringing a mat. And just talk to your roommate about everything that you guys are going to bring. So like with me and my roommate, like I bought the TV and I bought the fridge and she bought the rug and the microwave. So it's just like you just got to split everything up, just like the big ticket items, and just talk to each other about what you want. Like she brought the futon with her. So just talk to your roommate, communicate, because if you get here and you haven't talked about anything, it's going to be really uncomfortable, and you might have both bought a microwave and then you don't have use for one of them. So just communicate with your roommate about everything. And look on Pinterest for ideas. Just search dorm room, but don't drive yourself crazy trying to make your room look exactly like the ones on Pinterest do. I would just go there for inspiration and just to see what a room looks like. I believe one of our other videos is going to give you a tour of Bailey Hall, and we're going to show you a room so you have a good idea of that. The rooms in Brody are bigger than all the other rooms on campus, just because when they renovated the neighborhood and we got community style bathrooms, the space that you would have for a suite style bathroom is actually added onto your room. So we do have a lot bigger rooms than every other hall on campus, which is super nice, but it's still not a whole lot of space. So I would definitely just keep that in mind. So thank you all for listening to my little video. I can't wait to see you all in the fall and at AOP Prep if any of you were there. So yeah, thank you.